and welcome back to another video from me. Let's get started. So I'm going to be doing another makeup look today, and we're going to be diving into some bases on this video. So I'm going to be using the red base. I've kind of got a look in mind that I want to do. This one's going to be a little bit of a cut crease, and it's also going to be a blending focus, so it's going to be really blended out with a bit of a cut crease. I'm not sure about the cut crease yet. I know that I want it to be red, but yeah, we'll see how we feel. So yeah, we're going to play with some different coloured bases in this video, and yeah, let's get started. Okay guys, starting with my Plouise base. This is in shade Rumour 2. This is the pro version, guys. So this is 30 mils, I believe. This is just really good if you are, you know, a working makeup artist, or if you go through this quite a lot. This is really nice to get. You do get a lot more in it. So depending on obviously what you want to do and that kind of stuff, this is a really good buy. So I'm just going to take my 7071 brush. This is the devoted to my base brush. And then I'm going to coat both sides of the brush and just start patting that into the eye. Now, I don't usually like carving out my brows, just because I don't like doing it. I like more of like a fluffy brow more than a structured brow. However, if you do like the more structured brow, I will do a video on that, because obviously I would have already filled in my brows, and then this brush is really amazing to carve your brow. And the way that I would do it is I'd just like start carving it along like that. And because this is such a fan tipped brush, it's really amazing just to, you know, get a really sharp carve. But obviously I don't like carving my brows, but I will do a video on that. I am making a list on videos to make, so if there's anything you want to see, leave a comment down below and we will try and make it happen. So guys, I'm going to take my fluffy brush. You all know I love this brush, and I'm just going to start brushing this upwards like this. Now what this does is, you can see where there's a line through my brow there. This just makes the base come through the brow hairs and just ensures that there's no like, you know, no like gaps or anything like that. And I'm just gonna start buffing this out, because you know, if we leave this like this, it's not gonna blend into our concealer. I'm just going in with a little bit more, guys, just because I really want there to be a nice base there. Now, if you've never used the Plouise base before, the way you want to use it is just pat it like so. So you can see the difference already in my eyes. And you want to keep patting this down, guys, until there's hardly any shine left on the base. Now there is going to be a little bit of shine there, but you want it just so that, I mean, I'd go in as it is now. I mean, that to me is the perfect primed eye. Now this doesn't set, but when it does, it sets down to a tackiness, and it's really going to grab onto your shadows, but it also helps to blend out your shadows as well. So the palette I'm going to be focusing on with today, guys, is the Me, Myself and Mitchell palette. This is a really amazing palette if you are a makeup artist. If you're not a makeup artist, it's got every single like colour kind of shade that you want, and this mirror comes out so you can you know, take it out and use it and just have the palette like that. So I'm going to take the mirror out. So yeah guys, this palette is really high quality. If you don't know who Mitchell is, have you been living under a rock? I'm really excited to see his new brand. So excited. Praying that I'm on the PR list. So we're going to be diving into some shades out of this palette, and yeah, let's get started, guys. So before I dive into a palette, I'm just going to take the Plouise Bada Black base. This base, guys, is absolutely amazing. Two of the bases that I highly recommend is Rumour 2, obviously, because you get this beautifulness. Or the other base is, I really like the black base and I really like the white base, just because you can use them for eyeliner, you can use them pretty much for anything, and they're really amazing. They also have different shades, guys. So this is Rumour 11. and this one is rumour 5. So they come in a various amount of shades, which is absolutely incredible. So whatever skin tone you have, you are catered for. Just amazing. So yeah, at a later date I will get all the bases and do arm swatches for you, just so you can see what they look like. I'm taking a Morphe M506. This might be the wrong brush to use, but I'm just going to use it. Picking up the black base, I'm just going to start pressing it and working it into the crease. And then once I've got that kind of there, I'm going to start blending it outwards. This just helps you to get the shape that you want. Just makes everything a lot easier. So I'm just wiping a little bit of the base off of the brush, guys. And I'm just going to start tickling these edges a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm happy with how that's looking. So I'm going to go in with another clean Morphe M562. And then I'm taking the shade Mafia out of the Mitchell palette. And I'm just going to start tickling the edges of the base. The reason why I'm using this brush, guys, is just so that it gives me a really controlled blending shape. You can see how it's just starting to blend really beautifully. Just small circular motions, guys, that's all we need. So I'm happy with that. So I'm taking the shade Mist, guys, which is this amazing electric blue. And again, on the same Morphe M562, I'm just going to start 50% on and 50% off and just start getting the colour and the blend there. So I'm just starting to lightly tickle the edges out, because I really want these shades to be blown out, guys. So I'm just switching to a Kit Stars brush, guys. This is an N30 by Kit Stars. And I'm taking that blue shade, same blue shade. I'm just gonna start really blowing this out a bit. I'm gonna dip into the shade Morning Glory, which is this amazing pink shade, guys. And then I'm going to put that, again, 50% on and 50% off that blue shade. And what you'll find is that these shades will start to make a purple, but it will blend out to a pink. And the fluffy brush is just really going to do the work and the blending for you. And I'm going to bring it right into the brow. A good tip as well, guys, is if you don't want to hold your brush at this angle, you can, I like to hold mine right at the tip, just because it gives you more control of the brush and your blends. But if you can use the tip of this and just like really tickle the edges just to blur everything out. Because I'm going to really blur this pink out now, just at the edges here. And this is where you can kind of start going a little bit crazy with blending. I'm just going to take a clean, well, I've just wiped off this brush, guys. This is the Morphe one. And I'm just going to go into Morning Glory and just right at the edge here, just kind of start blending this out a little bit. Now, if you want, you can take a purple shade. You can take a purple shade and, you know, blend. It'll make blending a little bit easier for you, but the shade should do the work for you, really. I'm just going to take a tiny bit of the shade Morgan, like just a tiny bit, and I'm just going to run that along this line here, just so it blends out a little bit more than it is. I'm just going to start blending it out a lot more, guys, because it's starting to look a little bit too controlled, and that's not what I wanted. So I'm just going to dip back into the shade Mist, and I'm really just going to start making really big circular motions. I'm just switching to a Plouise Too Lost in My blend, just because it's a little bit denser, but still got the fluff on there. So I'm just taking an even fluffier brush and I'm just dipping into the shade Manchester, and I'm just going to start blending that into the pink shade. I feel like I need a little bit of base, so I'm just going to put some base on the temples. It's all about not being scared of the eyeshadows. So this is kind of looking a little bit peacocky, actually, and I'm kind of living for it. So I'm just grabbing some chunky glitter, guys, and I'm just going to start pressing that onto the area. This is not going well so far, guys. I had an idea in my head and it's not working out. Alright guys, so I'm going to dip into the shade McIver, which is that black shade. And I'm just going to start setting this eye now. And you'll see that it gets really, really intense. Can you see how intense it's getting? That's why I used the base first. Now when I get to this part here, I'm going to really, really, really clean off my brush and just lightly tickle it. I'm actually going to take the shade Moody Mitch, which is this really, really deep blue. I'm just going to tickle that over the edge. So I'm just going to go in now, guys, and I'm just going to make sure everything's like intensified where I want it to be just before we move on. So now I'm taking the Rude Boy red paint. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to cut the crease or if I wanted to really blow it out. So I'm going to take a clean diverted to my base brush, and again I'm just going to coat both sides of the brush in the red, and then I'm just going to start cutting about here. Now the bases, the pink and the red bases, guys, can stain your eyes, so just be careful of that. I don't have anywhere to go, so I'm not too bothered. And I'm just going to start filling in the eye. I actually think I'm going to bring this a little bit higher, just so it goes like that. I think kind of like that. So I'm going to take the shade Mad, which is this red shade, and I'm just going to start pressing that on. Just to set everything. So as you can see, guys, it's just really, really intensifying that red shade. Like, look how intense that red is. Oh my god. Like, have you ever seen a redder red? I'll wait. Okay guys, so I'm just gonna take a tiny bit of the shade McIver, and I'm just gonna blend these two shades kind of into each other. I'm gonna take a teeny bit of the red shade again, and I'm just gonna kind of see if I can bring that into the black a little bit more. Okay, I kind of like how that looks, so I'm happy. So guys, I am aware that this part here does look really wishy-washy. However, once I put all of my base makeup on, I will obviously go back in and just intensify all of this, just so it doesn't obviously look wishy-washy. So yeah, I will intensify that a little bit later on. I'm just going to take the shade Mental, which is kind of like the orange shade in the palette, and I'm just going to lightly dust a little bit just into the temple here. And I'm going to take the shade Man-Made, which is like this brownish shade, and I'm just going to tap that into this brow part here. So then I'm going to take the shade Manchester, which is the yellow shade, and just start, you know, blending this part out. Obviously I am going in with foundation, so I'm just giving myself kind of like a rough idea where I want the whole eye to go. Okay, so I'm just going to clean this part up. I know this looks super crazy at the minute, guys, but it's going to come together. Trust the process. So in my waterline, I'm taking the Crisp Finish paint. This is the blue shade called Salty AF. And I'm just taking this on a angled brush. I'm just going to start plopping that in my waterline. So that will self-set in 60 seconds, guys, so you don't have to do anything else. You can go over it with shadow if you want to, but I just like leaving it just to let it dry on its own. Just taking some more base, and I'm taking that on my diverted to my base brush. I'm just going to go under the lash. So I'm feeling like I want a bit of green in this eye look. So I'm going to do that on my lower lash line. So I'm going to take the shade Mardy, which is this really deep green. I'm just going to start putting that on the lower lash. Do you know the funny thing about me is, like, I'll plan eye looks Like, I've had this eye look in my head all day where I wanted black blending into whatever, and then I wanted a red lid. This is just taking it to a completely different level. Like, I've had this eye look literally in my head for the past 4 days now, and every time, I don't really plan my eye looks, but whenever I come to actually do them, like, they just always turn into random stuff. This is a Peaches and Cream brush, guys. This is PC07. Peaches and Cream brushes, guys, are so amazing. So I'm taking this brush, which is the 198 brush from the Weldy collection, guys. And I'm going into the shade Shmoney, which is this gorgeous green. I'm just going to use that to blend this green out, the dark shade. So I'm just taking a Diamante, guys, on some tweezers and a bit of lash glue, and I'm just going to place that right about there, just to add a bit of something. Alright guys, so I will go do the other eye, and I will be back to do lashes and do my base, so I will be right back. Alright guys, I am back. I have done the other eye. I think they kind of look the same. I am so bad at getting things to match and all that good stuff. I'm not putting a bottom lash on today just because I feel like it kind of looks cute. So I've just put my foundation on, and I'm going to show you quickly how I can use the Plouise base to conceal. So I am going to use the shade Roomette 2. It's a really beautiful product to use as concealer. Obviously it's not going to be right underneath my eyes. I will do a video of using it just purely under my eyes, a different video. But yeah, I'm just going to show you how I do that. So I'm just going to take my carving brush, and I'm just going to take a bit on the brush, and I'm just going to start putting that under the eye. As you can see, it's quite a nice shade to use. Another brush that I do like to use is this by Peaches and Cream. It's just like a real nice fluffy dense brush, and it just like puts the product kind of where you want it and blends it out a little bit like that. So I'm just going to use that, put a bit on my nose, a bit on the forehead, and then a bit on my chin. And I'm just going to clean off the brush a little bit, and I'm just going to stipple that in. Don't have to be too neat because I am going to blend it out in a minute. And then just spreading the product. It's a really nice product to use because it is like water based. It's not like overly thick. I know that it is quite a thick consistency, but it does hydrate the under eye. I found that it does hydrate the under eye, and even like on older skin, it just looks really beautiful. It does have sodium hyaluronic in it, so basically what that is it's just like a hydrating factor, kind of like hyaluronic acid. So it's just really nice and hydrating. And if you think about it, obviously you're using it on your eyes, and if it doesn't crease on your eyes, it's not going to crease on your under eye. So that's why I really like using it as like a concealer, and like you'll see when I'm blending it in, it just looks really beautiful and flattering. So I'm going to take like a fluffy brush, and I'm just going to start blending this part of the base in, and it just buffs into the skin so nicely. This is also a great tip that if you bring your eyeshadow too far down, you can take your base and just literally erase it. Just erase any mistakes that you've made and get really close to where you want to conceal. And then if you do decide that you want to bring your shadow down a little bit more, you can just take your brush and, you know, like so. So then I'm just going to take the brush that I used for my foundation. I'm just going to start tapping it in just so everything looks beautiful and blended. And then again, I'm going to take it right under the eye and just, you can see how amazing it just blends into the foundation and into the skin. And you're just left with such a beautiful highlighted under eye. It's a really, really beautiful product to use as concealer. And as I said, I will do a video where we conceal and contour with the bases. This just, you know, just shows you, you kind of get the idea. Look at that. beautiful. Okay guys, so usually I would go in with a MAC bronzer, but I have the brand new Julie Beauty bronzers, so I am going to be bronzing with these today because they are so beautiful. I have used these already and they're absolutely stunning. So I'm going to take this shade. This is the shade Caramel. This is the second shade in the line. It's just, oh, look at it, it's just gorgeous. And this is part of their second skin collection. So if you do want to grab any of these guys, I do have a discount code with Julie Beauty. It will be linked below, but it's just Ashman at checkout if you want to check any of these out. I will be using the blushes as well. So let's go with the bronzer. This brush as well, guys, is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH05. And I'd just like to start on the outside and just bring it in. I like to work in circles just to really smooth it into the skin. I'm not going to bring it too far down because I am going to be doing like something really blushy today, I think. But as you can see, just blends into the skin really beautifully. Look at that, just absolutely gorgeous. These are $14.99 guys, but obviously if you do use my discount code you will get 10% off that. But yeah, absolutely in love with the bronzers. And this is the shade Latte as well. So Latte is a lot lighter. I like to use Latte on my everyday looks just to, you know, have a little summer. I have used these as eyeshadows as well guys, and they blend so beautifully. And yeah, I'm just absolutely obsessed with these. Gorgeous. So guys, if you ever see me have a line underneath my chin from the bronzer, I've basically done that on purpose, just because on Instagram when I take my photos, it just makes me look a lot slimmer, and it just makes my jawline look really snatched. Obviously in real life I wouldn't walk around with, you know, a slag line as we like to call it in England, but yeah, just putting it out there that if you ever do see that, there is a reason why. I'm not shit at makeup. Well, just gonna take like a fluffy brush and just contour my nose a little bit. I don't do anything crazy when it comes to contouring my nose. So, and there you have it guys. That is the Julie Beauty bronzers. How sickening does my skin look? I'm literally obsessed with these guys. Code Ashman if you want money off. Alright guys, so before I do any blush or any lips, I'm going to do my brows, and I'm kind of feeling the no brow fantasy. So I am going to try and do like a little bit of a no brow look. When I do a no brow look, I will obviously blank them out, but obviously I didn't know that that's what I wanted to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a bit of blank canvas. Now, blank canvas, guys, it's going to be your absolute best friend. This stuff right here is phenomenal. Like, the paints are absolutely one of a kind. There's nothing like them on the market, and blank canvas is my favourite. It's just so you can carve your crease with it, you can use it all over your eye, you can use it as concealer. It's absolutely one of a kind. I've used this on my lips before and it's just so good. Like, I am telling you, one of a kind. And I'm going to use it to do my brows. I'm taking a bit on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to take a spoolie and just start combing that through my brows. So I don't know if I want to leave it like this or if I want to bring my shadow through it. I kind of feel like I want to leave it like this. I'm kind of feeling it, you know? And then that is what it should look like. I'm kind of feeling it. I was going to bring my eyeshadow through, but I kind of like it like that. So I'm quickly going to return to my eyes now, and we're just going to make sure everything is finessed and everything's blended and nice. So I'm just going to take the orange shade, which is called Mental, and I'm just going to really intensify this area. And I'm going to take the shade Manchester and I'm really going to blur this yellow shade out. Not too much. Just kind of like that. I kind of like that. And then around here, I'm just going to make sure the yellow's really intensified and blended. I'm going to take a teeny bit of Morning Glory mixed with Milkshake. I'm just going to bring this pink out a little bit here. Just tapping. I'm not really doing any work whatsoever. I'm literally just tapping a little bit. And I kind of like how that's looking. Alright guys, so now we will move on to lips. So for lips, I think I just want to keep really neutral. I just want the eyes to do the talking. Usually I would go in with like a crazy colour, but I feel like I just want to keep it neutral. So I am going to use the Plouise lipsticks. And in my last video, I did use the shade Heights. So in this one, I'm going to use the shade Takeover. Alright guys, so I am going to dip into the Jolie Beauty blush. This is in the shade Flush. Feel like it'll go with the eye look really beautifully. And as usual, I can't actually find my blush brush. So I'm going to take this one from Plouise. This one is the 622 So Deep with my contour. This is actually a contouring brush, but I'm just going to use it for blush today. So I'm just going to take a little bit. Don't want too much. I'm just going to put that on. These blushes, guys, I have tried and just so nice. Like, look at that. Compared to that, beautiful. I got sent 3 shades, guys, but I think there is about 6 shades, I believe, something like that. But look how beautiful that blush is. And I really like this brush for blush just because it buffs it in really nicely. I'm going to put a little bit on the tip of my nose. And then a little bit on my chin. And then I like to put a little bit on my forehead. Just a teeny bit. And that's that done, guys. Like, look at that. The blushes are absolutely beautiful. So for highlight, guys, I'm going to take my Love Tips palette and I'm going to use the shade Once Upon a Time again. I love this I love this highlighter so much. It's just so intense. I'm just going to take a bit on me. I'm not going to go crazy with the highlight today. I just want like a subtle glow. So obviously the eyes are really, really intense. So I just want like a subtle glow, really. So I'm just dipping into the Mitchell palette, guys, and I'm taking the shade Marine, which is this. It's kind of like it's a shimmer shade, but it's got like a blue turn to it. And I'm just gonna put that right on this area. And like, look at that. It just makes it look so ridiculously amazing. Like how sick does that look now? Alright guys, and that brings us to the end of this video. Yeah, don't know what to call this. I don't know what it is. It's not what I pictured in my head at all. It's completely different to what I pictured in my head. But I'm kind of low-key obsessed with it. I just think it looks really stunning. I love the red. I'm just obsessed with it. Literally, I'm really proud of myself, actually. As I said before, like usually I do random looks like this, and I never have anything planned out in mind. I always start to stress out, but I've actually really enjoyed doing this today. Just letting myself get loose, and obviously with you guys. And yeah, I've really enjoyed myself. I hope you've enjoyed this eye look too. Let me know what you think in the comments, and yeah, in my next video, don't know what it's going to be, whether it's going to be contouring. Let me know what you want to see in the next video. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video, guys, as always, and see you in the next one.